Hello everyone. In this video, I want to talk about independent learning, particularly in regards to learning technical topics and learning about programming and these kind of things. Because learning can be fun, but it can be very, very difficult. And even if you have a background in traditional education, we all have to teach ourselves things on the job. And if you're self-taught, then hopefully these tips will also help you as well. And yeah, I just wanted to talk a bit more about self-directed learning. Now, I don't claim to be an expert or anything like that, but I do feel like I've learned some things, and I do it a lot in my work. So I thought I'd share some of the things that I've learned here, and hopefully you'll find it helpful. Now, the person that comes to mind, or character, fictional character, I should say, that comes to mind for me when I think about like a self-learner or like a autodidact or didact or however you pronounce it, is Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones. He is someone that, he doesn't have a degree. He didn't go to some prestigious college. He's just read a lot of books and had a lot of discussions with people. And over time, he's learned a lot about history and economics and a lot of other subjects. And I think this is a good example, really, of kind of the path a lot of us take and what we do in real life. Other than read books, we have access to so much information online, and we watch courses, we watch tutorials, read tutorials, Google things, just go on forums, Discord, Stack Overflow, even though with the advent of AI, maybe not Stack Overflow as much anymore. And whatever resources you come across, you just read them and you keep going and you ask questions to other people or to yourself to help you understand a topic further. So let's kind of talk about this a little bit more and talk about like specifically how you self-learn something, how you teach yourself something, and the technique that I guess I really use. And it's all kind of curiosity driven. You have to be curious about a topic and you have to kind of want to pick at it and understand it more deeply. Otherwise, I think it's really hard to self teach things. And I have just a lot of assorted random tips about self learning and the painful process of it. So I'll get into those afterwards as well. So my approach generally begins with just Googling, you know, something about how something works, maybe a question about how something works. So to give an example, there's a new authentication method that you might have heard of, passkeys. You can now, use your biometrics like a fingerprint or Face ID to log into websites. And the website doesn't store any of these credentials. It's stored in the secure element or secure chip on your phone. And the website just stores a public key. Now, say I wanted to learn about passkeys and how they work. Of course, I'd start with what are passkeys? And then Google would probably say something like passkeys are built on public key cryptography and blah, 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 blah. And if I don't know what that is, then I'm going to Google what is public key cryptography. And it's going to take me somewhere else. Maybe it's going to talk to me about what asymmetric cryptography is, um, and so on, right? And it goes on and on and on. And you kind of have to take this concept or this topic to its logical conclusion, or rather to a point that you can understand it at, right? It should break it down to a point where you're like, okay, I kind of get that now. And then you work backwards to answer your big question that you started with. Um, it's like a recursive, endless Google search. That's essentially how I learn things and how I think a lot of self-taught people learn things, and you kind of go from there. And to back this up, you're probably going to have a lot of questions about what you're learning about, like, well, what if someone did this? What if the company gets hacked and something happens to the passkeys or blah blah blah? You're going to have hopefully a bunch of questions about how this works, and then the next best step is to ask them, ask them in a forum to other people, ask them in Discord, if you want to use AI and the answer is going to be accurate, and you just repeat these steps. Now, some general tips, I think, are getting good at this, is first off, you kind of have to be a masochist, because when you're learning about something brand new to you, everything is going to feel difficult. Um, and in some cases, you're going to want to rip your hair out and give up and think it's all stupid. And you have to push through. Um, if you're programming something, if you've ever programmed, and you know when you're learning something and you get stuck, it can just feel terrible. And it feels like you're never going to get it and you're stupid and all of these things. You just have to push through. You just have to keep pushing, and you will get there. And you kind of need this attitude. You need to understand that you're brand new to it. Some of the resources out there might not be actually as good as you thought. You might pick a resource and find out it's really wordy or it's hard to understand, or something like that. It depends really on the topic that you're learning about. So you will get there. You just have to persist and yeah, keep putting yourself through the pain. Sadly, I think that's just the best way to learn. The second thing really is asking a lot of questions, is what I've talked about. But I guess also in tandem with this is like removing the ego. And I personally really struggle with this one because I'm always scared to look stupid. I'm always scared that, now I'm working in the industry and I have this knowledge and I have this experience, that if I ask a certain question, people are going to be like, oh, this guy should know that surely, or why doesn't he know about X or Y? But you have to ask these questions because they're going to help you get better. They're going to help you understand a topic more deeply, and ultimately that's your goal, right? So you kind of have to put up with the idea of the embarrassment and these kind of things, and just go through with it. This one I really struggle with. I'm trying to do more of, and it's why I'm trying to make these YouTube videos and other things. And also, I find pick things that you find fun, because you're probably going to want to understand it better. And maybe you're not going to be as scared or think like, oh, this is stupid. Why am I learning about this? If you want to learn about it, learn about it. That's cool, right? So yeah. Another tip is obviously to write about what you learn. People talk about writing in public and building in public and these kind of things. I know this isn't for everyone, so if this isn't up your street, it's not like you have to do it. I personally enjoy writing and talking about things. Um, so I use that as a way to make sure I understand a topic to a certain extent, and publish it on my blog and hopefully help other people. Sometimes, the people you learn best from are the people who've just learned it, because they're going to put it in a way that you can understand it better. Sometimes, the expert is a little bit kind of far removed from what a beginner might understand. Depending on who's writing, obviously it depends on the writer and everything like that. So write about it if you can, if you want to. If not, don't worry. The next thing is kind of getting a good feeling for what good resources are. Now, this is obviously hard. You just have to find them, and it's practice and understanding what works and what doesn't. If someone says, oh, this is the best resource on this, and you read it and it's like a 900-page book and you cannot get through it and it's not working for you, find something else. There's a lot of bad resources out there as well as good resources, or maybe not bad resources, but just ones that aren't for you. Everyone learns differently, and different resources work well for different people. Sometimes books are great for me. Sometimes I can't, I read and write basically all day for work, and sometimes I just can't bear to try and read a technical article at the end of the day or something like that. So I just watch a YouTube video on it, right? And some people will say, I can't learn anything from these YouTube tutorials. I need to, read a book or something like that. So yeah, but in any case, no matter what the format is, find a resource that works for you. Find people that explain it good enough to you, or well enough, or in a way that just works for you. So that's what I'd recommend. And yeah, that's pretty much all the tips and the way I self-learn things. So I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you find this video useful. Peace.